As this semester comes to an end, I am met with the realization that I have attended Clemson University for 4 years. 4 years of walking these halls and exploring this campus. I would like to believe that I have experienced all that I can to the best of my abilities. When I came in as a freshman, I was told that my 4 years would come and go as fast as I could blink. I did not understand what that meant. I was also given the advice that while the 4 years can come and go as quick as possible, it is important to experience everything you can to the best of your abilities. When I look back at my 4 years here, I think about what's changed and where I am now. This year has been rather impacting upon me, and I have learned so much. My education has come to a point where I can decide what is important to me and what I want to learn more about. One of these things has been the impact of technology on my life. As an English major, there is not a day that goes by that I'm not on my laptop. I write papers all the time. I would say that I am rather reliant on technology. One day, I was sitting at lunch when someone asked me what I would do without my laptop and my phone for the day. It was scary to me to see the answers that came running through my mind. The realization that I was so dependent upon my phone and my laptop was rather alarming. As I carried about my day, the conversation stuck with me. As I was walking to and from campus on Library Bridge, I started to realize there was a common theme. Every student and every teacher that I saw was holding an iPhone in their hand. Some would look up, but most would continue to look at their phones as they walked. This sparked a deeper interest within me, and I knew that this was something I wanted to explore. I wanted to understand why it was that we were so consumed with our phones on a daily basis. Why, when I went to a restaurant, I would see people sitting on their phones in line. There was no more conversation. I wanted to understand why our society has become so dependent upon technology. Is it because we feel awkward when we're standing amongst our peers? Is it because we're uncomfortable with silence? Is it because we're just bored? As I dove deeper into my research, I was met with the work of Sherry Turkle. Turkle has spent most of her career researching what she calls identity in the digital age called life on the screen. In her latest book, titled Alone Together, Turkle explores the power technology holds on our society, emotionally, socially, and privately. Turkle spends time discussing the importance of returning to what is most sustaining about direct human connection. She uses the term checks and balances frequently in reference to how we allow technology to acclaim our lives. It is from this that I began my own research here on campus, as well as in our small town of Clemson. I started with filming my walk to and from the library. Along the library bridge, I found several people on their phones. I then went into the library and filmed the Starbucks line. Next, I went into some of the locations in downtown Clemson, such as Moe's and Chipotle. I found plenty of people sitting on their phones, even while having conversations at the dinner table. I went up to a few of my fellow classmates and conducted interviews. The following is what I found. When you're sitting on your phone waiting in line, are you looking at Facebook, sending a text message or email, or just glancing at your phone?
I'd say kind of just glancing at it or, looking at Facebook.
When you do this, is it because you're uncomfortable, because you want something to fill the time, or because you don't want to talk to other people?
I'd say a mix of all three. Mostly the second one, though.
Okay. When you're at a restaurant and you're standing in line waiting and you pull out your phone, are you 99% of the time looking at Facebook, sending an email, sending a text message, or just roaming through your phone?
Yes.
Yes, what? Are you looking at Facebook or doing something
I'm
important?
roaming through my phone.
Roaming through your phone. Okay. When you're roaming through your phone, are you doing it because you're uncomfortable, because you don't want to talk to other people, or because you want something to fill the time?
To fill the time.
Okay. When you're walking to and from class, do you notice people with their phones in their hand?
Yeah.
When you're walking to and from class, do you pull your phone out?
Yes.
When you're walking to and from class and you're on your phone, are you looking at emails, text messages? Are you roaming the internet? Or are you responding to something important?
Probably text messages.
When you see people standing in line for a restaurant, do you think that they're actually responding to something important, or do you think they're surfing the internet to consume time?
Surfing the internet to consume time.
When you feel like you see people on their phones to consume time, do you think it's just people our age, or do you think there's also adults that fall into this category?
Definitely adults that fall into this category. I could definitely say my parents do that too.
When you're in class, do you see students and classmates on their phones?
Yes.
I also conducted an interview with one of my professors, and this is what she had to say. Okay. When you're walking to and from class, do you notice students on their phone?
All the time.
Do you
Yeah.
notice professors and adults walking on their phones as well?
Oh, yeah, just as often. I mean, in fact, this may be beyond what you want to know, but like, I often feel like as adults, we're like, we say, oh, kids are always on their phones, but actually, I notice a lot of times the adults are more guilty
phones,
of it. Like, as a parent, I notice that, like
Right.
the times when I'm like staring at my phone, not engaging with my children.
Right.
So, yes, it's a problem.
Okay, and then when you see people on their phones, do you think that they're responding to important emails and text messages, or just surfing the internet to consume time as they're walking? I know it's difficult.
I assume that they are, that it could be any of those things. Because I know
Right.
with myself, sometimes it's like I hear a text and I'm like, oh, I have to look at that now. Like maybe it's something I need to respond to right now. So sometimes it does seem to have this urgency. And then other times, like something just strikes me and I'm like, oh, I've been meaning to look that up. I'm
Right.
just going to do this right now as I'm climbing up these stairs. Like it has to happen.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Upon finishing my interview with Dr. Rivlin, she explained to me that one of her fellow professors had conducted a research of his own. One day he decided to carry around a potato instead of a cell phone in his hand and see how students reacted. He too was amazed at the responses. I have thoroughly enjoyed the processes I went through and the research I conducted for this project. Since starting this project, I have realized just how much I fall victim to the isolation of my phone. In restaurants, on the way to school, at the dinner table, and with my friends, I find myself constantly on my phone. When waiting in lines, I choose to surf the web for no reason other than to avoid conversation with those around me. In the way that I am choosing to handle social situations, I am isolating myself. It is a reoccurring concept that I have found as a theme of my project. We are afraid to be alone, but in the way that we are handling it, we are creating further isolation. My goal is to create awareness to the idea that we need to get better at or more comfortable with silence. We need to recreate and welcome the importance of direct human contact and socialization.